What's up, guys? We're here with our non-meta tournament, yet another deck list. So why don't you tell us who you are and what you played?
My name is Joseph Vaught. Everyone here pretty much just calls me Joey. I placed 5th. Me placing 5th is what got Jordan his 2nd place winning. So
Yes, sir. We win it in the last match.
Game 3 Brit for the win.
Hey, just play a consistent deck. That's all.
Hey man, it's about as consistent as yours. I just brick it.
Ooh, hey, my deck breaks all the time. I understand.
But yeah, I played Witchcrafters tonight. Pretty fun deck. They're not the best at all whatsoever,
Hey, that's what the non-meta is about.
but it's fun.
That's what the non-meta is about. All right, let's see this deck list. And pay no mind to the white arm. The boy was helping me paint my office.
With one arm. 'cause
With one
I broke
arm.
my wrist.
He's the homie. Even hurt, he comes through. But let's see the deck list.
Alright, so first off, like I said, we're playing Witchcrafters. Got to start off with the 3 Shmieta. Most important card of the deck. All the little ones have the same profile. Or they all have the same first effect where you can tribute them as a cost, discard a spell card, and then they special summon a different Witchcrafter. This one, all the little ones also have a graveyard effect where you can banish them as a cost, and then they do different things. This one just lets you foolish any card from your deck. That's a Witchcrafter card. Next, we have 2 Jenny. Like I said, first effect is the same as the Shmieta. It lets you tribute itself, and then discard a spell card to special summon a Witchcrafter from the deck besides itself. And then you can banish Jenny and then a Witchcrafter spell card from your graveyard, and it just treats the effect as the banished spell card. That's it for the little ones. I feel like this is enough. Most people play the level 3 Pitore. Her banish effect lets you draw a card, discard a card. It's pretty good, but I couldn't find mine in time, so I didn't play it. For the big Witchcrafters, I played 1 Madame Vere. I just got this right before the tournament. Witchcrafter Golem Aruru, and then Witchcrafter Hein. I never saw this card. Never. So this is the one you normally want to go into just because it's a skill drain on legs by pitching a spell card. Also, during damage calculation, you can reveal spell cards with different names when a spellcaster does battle, and that spellcaster gains 1,000 attack and defense for each different spell card that you reveal. Hein gives targeting protection. You can make it to where your opponent can only target her with card effects. She also has a quick effect to discard a spell card and target a face-up card on the field and pop it. Witchcrafter Golem Aruru is kind of like a hand trap. You can, whenever a spellcaster you control is targeted for an attack or by a card effect, you can special summon her and then target a card on the field or a Witchcrafter spell in your graveyard and add it to the hand. So if you've already used her effects and they attack into something else, you can special summon her to bounce the attacking monster. That's it for the Witchcrafter main deck monsters. Well, Witchcrafter monsters, they don't have any extra deck monsters yet.
Never getting support.
In the OCG, they have a fusion spell and a fusion monster.
We're never getting that ever.
So next we've got 2 Illusion of Chaos for the Souls package. We all know what this does. It's great in here that I feel like because you can special summon the Souls, normal summon one of the little Witchcrafters, and then at the end of the turn, if you sent Witchcrafter spells for Souls effect to draw 2 cards, you just get those 2 Witchcrafter spells for free. Next for hand traps, I have 2 Ash Blossom. We all know what it does. We all know what it is. I played 1 Ghost Ogre and 1 Skullmeister. I normally don't play hand traps at all because I like to have the extra gas. But Mr. Jordan has shown me the way, and I actually enjoyed seeing any of these tonight. If I saw them, they did their job very well. Next, I played 4 copies of Secret Village. You might be asking how, but we all know terraforming adds any field spell from your deck to your hand. So if you're able to end on souls, the small Witchcrafter, because you have to end with a Witchcrafter on field, and to be able to add your Witchcrafter spells from graveyard back to your hand. It was just free. Every time I ended with this, I pretty much won. It would take them so long to see their any form of hate that it didn't matter. Next, I have 3 Witchcrafter Creation. It's basically Rhoda for the Witchcrafter deck. It lets you add any of the Witchcrafters. All of them have the same end phase effects, where during your end phase, you can, if you control a Witchcrafter monster, you can add them back from your graveyard to your hand. Sadly, you can only use 1 effect per turn, so if you activate this for the search, you cannot add it back to your hands. That's the only unfortunate thing about it. Next, probably the second best spell for them is Witchcrafter Unveiling. I played 2 of it. It lets you special summon a Witchcrafter monster from your hand, but after that, after it resolves, they cannot respond to any of your spellcaster monster effects. So if you summon a Witchcrafter monster with this, and then you activate Soul's effect, they can't Veiler or Ash it. Next I played Witchcrafter Holiday. Witchcrafter Holiday is basically Monster Reborn for Witchcrafters. That's all it is.
You're talking about how she's just like coming out of like a vending machine, like.
I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. Either that, or she's just chilling in a glass ball that just hangs from the ceiling.
The graveyard's a vending machine, I guess. I guess both how fast you recycle spells at the end of your main.
Yeah, you can recycle up to, just depends on how many you haven't used and have pitched to the graveyard for an effect. So I played 1 Witchcrafter Draping for back row hate that you can just add for free. Because you can, like I said with Shmieta, you can dump any Witchcrafter card from your deck to your graveyard. And you can just use this next turn if they have anything set. You're forcing them to react, or they just have to lose it. Witchcrafter Collaboration. This didn't come up at all tonight, other than it just being a different spell with another name for me to reveal or pitch for Madame Vere. What it does is you can target 1 Witchcrafter you control, and it lets it attack twice during your battle phase. Probably the most important, I would say probably either the second or the third most important spell card is Buy Street. Buy Street gives each of your Witchcrafters, each one of them, Destruction Protection 1 time. It came up quite a bit. Normally, whenever I use Shmieta's send effect, I would always send this first so I could get it. It doesn't go to the hand. This one's actually unique as to where it will set itself to the spell and trap zone. And then also, if you would discard for a Witchcrafter effect, you can just send this from the field if you feel like that's the better play. I did actually do that like twice tonight, so it does come up. Next, that's the end of the Witchcrafter spells, but I did play 1 Instant Fusion. You'll see why when I get to the extra deck. We can all probably guess what it is. I played 1 Metal Foes Fusion because you like to discard spell cards. So if you discard this, you can shuffle it back, of course, to draw a card, refill your hand. Lovely card in Witchcrafters because it's just free. And then the best one, Magicalized Fusion. The spiciest card that I played tonight, and I will show you why in the extra deck. That'll be it for the spell cards. Next, I have trap cards. I played 3 Infinite Impermanents. It's just super good. If I lost the die roll, I pretty much always saw this, which was amazing. I also saw it like twice going first. Always did amazing jobs. It would force interaction or it would just make them lose. I also played 3 Solemn Strike. It's Strike, it's good. In the feature match that I'm in, you'll see where I hold this for so long, and then Roberto just was like, man, you held that for so long. I was like, yup. Because after that, he just kind of passed his turn. And then for the last one, I played 1 Witchcrafter Patronus. This, if you see it, lets you recycle your Witchcrafters from graveyard or banishment to add a spell card. So you get to pitch your monsters back to add any of your Witchcrafter spells or traps. This is the only one that's really good right now, so it's the only one that I played. That's the end of the main deck. My extra deck. My Link ones. I played Relinquished Anima. Probably the best Link one that I played tonight. It's the only one I made because it's a spellcaster. And against Mr. Subia, you know, the Life Twins. This always forces out Trouble Sunny. Always. Unless he only used the Eagle Booster once against me, but it wasn't against this. So this always forces it out, and it's amazing. Played Link Kribo, but like I said, it didn't come up. Almirage, it's like Jordan used to say, if you can't turbo out Almirage, it's a bad deck. That's the end of the Link 1s. For Link 2s, I played Dark the Dark Charmer, which came up almost every game. It's just to help me Link climb. Next, this was probably the most summoned Link monster tonight that I used. Next, I had IP. It's IP. Verte, because for some reason Verte is not banned. Thankfully, the only reason this isn't banned is because Dragoon and DPE are banned for the non-meta. So I would use this to send the Magical Ice Fusion. And then whenever I would summon Dark, I would just use it and whatever I summoned to go into Celine. And then I would just use her effect to, of course, special summon any of the spellcasters from my graveyard. These are like the only three besides Relinquished Anima that really came up. I played one Unicorn for the IP, just in case it ever came up. I played one Boral Sword, since access code is banned. Shout out to Jordan for the secret Apollosa. Like I said, never came up. These never came up. The only things that ever came up was the Dark, the Verte, the Celine, and the Relinquished Anima. That's it for the Link monsters. I played some XYZ monsters because you don't really care about your extra deck too much. These were just thrown in to fill the space. I played a Tornado Dragon, a Baguska, and an Abyss Dweller. Like I said, I never summoned them because you don't keep your Witchcrafters on field long enough to go into them. So they were just filler space. And then for the instant fusion target, of course, Millenniumizer Strict. Stops hand traps if you're able to get it out. And then at the end of the turn, you can link it off into Link Kribo or something. Since it's going to be destroyed anyways. Super good. Just sadly, I just never saw the instant fusion tonight. And then for the sauce, the spiciest of cards, the reason I played the Magical Ice Fusion is, of course, Quintet Magician. I got to resolve this card twice by using 5 different spellcasters.
Just destroys everything.
Destroys everything on your opponent's field. It's just a board wipe for your opponent, not you. It doesn't do anything to your field. It can't be tributed. It can't be destroyed by card effects. And it's a 4,500 beater, so...
Trouble Sunny can still send it.
Trouble Sunny can still send it. But that's if they live through the turn you summon this, which if I summoned this, I won the game. That turn. This did not last longer than a turn. That's the end of the extra deck. To my side deck. In the side, I played 3 Lancia. It came up some. It got sided in, but I never saw it. So it wasn't the best tonight. But usually whenever I see it, it did its job. The only time I saw this card, I couldn't use it because it was against Jordan. And there wasn't any point in using it because he didn't even try to banish the Trouble Sunny to send. And then I top decked the second one because I sided in 3 going second, and I saw this in starting hand and then drew it for turn, and it just wasn't good. It is a good card, but in the scenario that I had it, it wasn't any good. Next I played 2 Droll and Lockbird. People will probably call me a mad lad for only playing 2. But if I sided this in, I saw it. So it was fine. 2 is amazing. Played 2 Effect Veiler. It's Veiler. It's another Imperm going second.
Typical Veiler.
Typical Veiler. I played 2 Dark Rulers because you're trying to stall the game anyways. And going second, that's one of the best ones. You're trying to control the game. This lets you pop some of their board. typical dark ruler. And then people really hate this card. I sided 2 Mystic Mind.
Stop it. We're ending it right now. Cut the video. Cut it.
Actually, this card won me the game against Jason that I played him because we were in a top deck war and I won because of this card. And then I played 1 Sales Ban, even though it didn't come up. You know, I would side in Sales Ban to against Jordan. I sided it in to call Trouble Sunny, so that way he couldn't use its effects.
But did you see it?
I didn't see it.
Let's go.
1 Harpy's Feather Duster. I didn't side this in all night. The one time I would need it, it didn't come up. I played 1 Red Reboot. I saw it, and it just got Feather Dustered, so it didn't matter. And then I played 1 Evenly Match as my last slot because I didn't know what else to throw in. And that was my side deck.
All right. Well, thank you for the deck list. Do you have any shout outs or anything like that?
Shout out to Mr. Jordan, always coming in clutch with the cardboard. Mr. Bert's one of the best we have here. Always comes in clutch.
The best. Get it right.
Can you see it? Can you see his head like in the camera?
The best.
It's too big for this.
The best. Let's go.
Yeah. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Jason. He's the one who I got the secret beret from before the tournament. Shout out to the Gathering Place and pretty much the whole entire Abilene community. Everyone pretty much comes in clutch. But yeah.
All right. Thanks for the deck profile.
Yes, sir.